Are you sick and tired of getting pushed around by the wind, that is? Well, this video is going to show you how to push back and keep riding straight. Wind on a motorcycle can be a scary thing. One minute you're riding along with a smile on your face and a friendly tune in your head. The next you're getting pushed around like the football team's tackling dummy. I'll never forget my first experience in high winds. I was riding along in Northern California through wine country. Rain clouds had just passed through and a storm brought with it winds that seemed intent on pushing me into oncoming traffic. At that point, I'd had about a month's worth of riding experience and no training, so I didn't know how to respond, other than to slow down and eventually pull over to recover my wits. In the midst of my struggle for survival, at least that's how it seemed to me at the time, a group of bikers zipped past me like the wind didn't exist. What did they know that I didn't? Well, I'm here to share that info with you in this video. Before I get started, I'll admit that I do research before I make my videos. I see what others are saying to make sure I'm putting out the best information that I can. I gotta say though, that when it comes to talking about dealing with the wind, I was disappointed. A lot of what I see out there is either short on useful info, it's incomplete, or just dead wrong. Who knew that riding in the wind could be so tricky to figure out? Here's the deal though. Riding in high winds is tricky for even experienced riders, but there are ways to make it easier and safer. The first thing to understand is that your bike wants to keep going straight and stay upright, even if the wind has other ideas. Most bikes weigh anywhere from 400 to 800 pounds, which by itself isn't easy to push around. Then you add to that weight the fact that your wheels are spinning quickly around and round, which turns them into oversized gyroscopes. Remember, mass is a function of energy. The faster something moves, the more mass it has. The more mass, the harder it is to move in a different direction. I could go into a detailed physics explanation about inertia and Newton's various laws of motion, but my name isn't Ryan Fortnine, so you'll just have to trust me on this. Anyhow, keep Newton in mind when you're getting dusted by a semi blowing past you on the interstate. You may feel like you're getting knocked to the ground, but relax, you're not going anywhere. Speaking of relaxing, the key to dealing with the wind really is to relax. But I'll get to that in a moment. Despite all the mass created by our bikes, there is a problem, and that's us. We human beings sit on top of our big, beautiful gyroscopes and mess things up. Compared to our bikes, we're relatively large in surface area, but weigh a lot less. Plus, we're positioned on top of the bike so that our movements can act like a lever on the position of the bike. Archimedes once said that with a lever large enough, he could move the world. Well, we're that lever to our bikes. If we blow over, we can take the bike with us. Despite what you might think, the wind can blow us around all day. The key is to avoid taking the bike with us. The solution here is counterintuitive. When the wind is thrashing away at us, our tendency is to latch onto the handlebars with a death grip and not let go. Instead, the solution to keeping your bike moving in a straight line is to let go. Remember, your bike wants to keep moving in a straight line. Let it! Don't let the fact that you're getting pushed around affect your bike. Instead of holding on to the bars tightly, hold on lightly. The harder the wind blows, the less you hold on. In high winds, I rest the palms of my hands on the bars and leave my fingers curled over the back, but not in contact with the grips. My knees are loose on the tank. As much as I can, I separate my body from the bike so that whatever the wind may unleash upon me is not transferred to the bike. The more loose I am, the less my movements impact the bike. The tighter I hang on, the more my bike will follow when the winds send me sideways. There's also some common sense tips that I'll add as well. If the wind is blowing from the left, move to the left side of the lane so you have more room to move. Don't move all the way to the left though, because wind is a funny thing. One minute it's coming from one side, the next minute it's coming from the other. Best to stay roughly in the middle and not hug either side so you don't inadvertently get pushed out of your lane should the wind change direction. And don't worry, it will. If the wind is consistently coming from one direction, a little lean into the wind may be necessary to keep you on course. Staying loose and leaning when needed will get you through everything from blustery days to bustling buses kicking up wind alongside you. If you're still feeling uncomfortable, slow down until you feel you can manage the situation. Be careful of road cuts and bridges. When you come out of a mountainside or onto a bridge, the wind can whip up or radically change direction all at once. On a windy day, slow down and brace yourself as you traverse the mountains or cross a bridge. What happens though if you get hit with high winds that leave you fighting to stay on the road? Recently I rode through winds that gusted up to 65 miles per hour. Talk about a battle. When I stopped to put on my jacket, the wind blew my bike over. That was a tough day. The solution here is again counterintuitive. No matter how hard the wind is blasting, you're still staying loose on your bike. No death grip on the bike grips. There's one more thing we need to add into the mix, however. That's countersteering. I'm not going to get into all the details of it here, but basically countersteering is pushing on the right handlebar when you want to turn right and on the left to go left. Spoiler alert, all steering is actually countersteering whether you realize it or not. Anyhow, when the wind kicks up and wants to blow you out of Kansas like Dorothy in Wizard of the Oz, countersteering is the only thing that's going to save you. When the wind comes in from the left, you push your left handlebar to match it. Each malicious gust is met with an equal push on the bar located on the side the wind is coming from. Whatever you do, don't grab the bars and try to steer into the wind. Do that and you'll either end up in the next lane or off the road. Stay loose and countersteer. The way countersteering works is that when you push the bar to one side, you cause the bike to fall to that side. If the wind is coming from your left and you push on your left handlebar, your bike will constantly be falling into the wind and thus keep you upright and more or less going straight. Now you may think I'm crazy, but keep my words in mind the next time the wind starts howling when you're fighting to stay on the road. My final tip for dealing with the wind is that if it's blowing like the exhaust from a 747 engine, maybe that's a sign you need to head for a basement or a bomb shelter. At some point, it's time to get off the road and watch the Weather Channel for updates. To recap, hang loose. The stronger the wind, the looser the ride. Adjust your lane position to match the wind, but stay in the middle. Slow down if you feel uncomfortable. Lean into the wind when necessary. Watch out for road cuts and bridges. When the going gets bad, countersteer. If nothing else works, get off the road. If you have any stories to share about your dealing with the wind or suggestions that I didn't cover, feel free to leave them in the comments. Please hit the like button and follow my channel. As always, stay safe and enjoy the ride.